Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph and this is Ordinary Plant Girl. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video, and if you're returning, thank you so much for spending more of your time with me. I'm so sorry I haven't been here for a while. There's kind of a lot that's been going on, which has led to quite a few neglected house plants, but we're going to rectify some of that today if possible. So today I have got a few plants that I need to up pot. There's a couple of anthuriums that I need to put into bigger pots. I've got a couple of philodendrons as well. I don't know how much of it I'm going to get through. I am trying to also see if there are any plants that I can kind of throw into pon, and I'm just looking up because my propagation bins are up on the top shelf there, so I was just trying to think of what might be ready to go, but I would actually have to get into those boxes and check. But anyway, today so far what we're going to do is just do a little bit of up potting. So we're just going to kind of go with the flow and see what happens. But my main thing is trying to make sure that I get some of these plants up potted before they start throwing out new leaves, because that is where I go wrong every single time. Okay, so here we are. We're at my little table, which is running out of space to just pot up anything on. Trying to figure out a different alternative. I could use the floor, but then I'm gonna have a dog stepping all over me, so I don't want to do that. But I do have 3 of the plants that I'm going to start with today. So one of them right here is my philodendron soderoy, which you can tell wants to climb, wants something to climb, and I have not provided that for it. So I'm going to do that today. It dries out really quickly as well. My other one that I'm not sure if I want to put on a stake or a pole is my philodendron atabapoense. This one too is like it's leaning forward to get the light, but I think that it's definitely time that it has some kind of support. Now, whether that support is going to be a stake or whether it's going to be a moss pole, I think I might go with a stake just because I have so many moss poles right now that I consistently have to water. I don't know if I want to add anything to that, and I do believe that the atabapoense and the soderoy would still size up being on a stake. So we're gonna try that. And then I have my Anthurium magnificum crossed with a nigrolaminum, so a mag crossed with a GG. And this leaf here is still hardening off. I don't think it's going to get any bigger. It's starting to darken up quite a bit. But if you saw, I can't remember which video it was, I think it was in my Anthurium updates video, I was saying that this mix is very, very perlite heavy, like that there's barely any soil or anything in there. So I just want to give it a little bit of a airy but denser mix, if that makes sense. So what I've done is I'm going to start off with the philodendrons. So I made my mix here. So I have got my aeroid mix right here, and all that's in it is potting soil, some fine orchid bark, and some perlite. That's all that's in this. I feel like for my philodendrons, I don't need to get very fancy with them anymore. There was a point in time when I was putting in charcoal and orchid bark and pumice and perlite and just all of that stuff, but they really don't need that much as far as the philodendrons go. So I think they'll be okay in this mix. It's been working for other philodendrons that I've been putting in it, so we're just gonna go with that. I think what I've got in here is just 4 parts soil, 2 parts orchid bark, and 2 parts perlite. And then whatever is left over from this, I can add my anthurium mix to it, and then I can pot up my nigrolaminum. So I did want to up pot my forgetii, but when I looked closer at it, it really doesn't need to be up potted, and my Vag Lux that's in the east facing window could use an up pot, but it's actually just thrown out a new leaf. But this new leaf isn't doing very well, and I don't know why that is. Maybe I missed a watering, I'm not sure, but anyway, that's a totally different story. So we are going to start off with these guys, and yeah, I think I'm going to give them both stakes as opposed to moss poles. So I have a couple of stakes here. These are very dusty because they were sitting in a corner. I've had them for months and have not used them, but I've got two 2-foot stakes here. I've also got 2 4-foot ones, but I don't think I'm going to need the 4-foot ones yet. So we're just going to go with these ones for now. And then if I do need to put in the 4-foot stakes later on, then this makes it so much easier. And then what else I'm going to do is I'm going to up pot them 2 sizes instead of 1 because they are in 4-inch pots, but I'm just going to throw them up into 6-inch pots because I feel like this isn't big enough. Maybe for the Adabapawensi, but not for the Soda. That is not a big up pot at all. And I think this is maybe it might be a 4.5 inch. Anyway, we're going up 6. The Anthurium will go in this one. I don't want to put it in too big of a pot yet. Are you putting out another leaf? Oh, no, those are aerial roots. So, crisis averted. Okay. I still have so much organizing to do in this room and just have not done any of it. So, I'm going to take my potting mix. We're going to put it down here. All right, now we just got to make sure that you get a good shot of the table. I think I'm going to start with the Adabapawensi. So the Adabapawensi does have a leca layer at the bottom. So it has a leca layer in the bottom because I did have it sitting in just one of these little shallow trays using it as a water reservoir. And it really liked it. This leaf is new, so I hope I don't damage it too much when I do this, but should I put another, maybe I should put another leca layer in there because I am putting it in a 6-inch pot and it's used to that. So I'm just going to take some leca that I have sitting in here with coconut chips. I don't know why. I'll just pick it out and throw it in the bottom of the pot. Like I was saying, I haven't been here much lately, and you know, it's just life kind of gets in the way. I went on another work trip and it's just kind of been downhill from there. Had bad news happening in the family, outside of the family. Just trying to realize what's important sometimes. Not that this isn't important, because I do love doing this. It is a hobby that I love, and I love sharing that with all of you. But you know, sometimes whether it's mental health or whether it's, like I said, family issues, sometimes you can't escape not being able to do the production that you were previously doing. So that is not to say that I won't be getting back to my regular schedule. I do like the fact that I have a schedule. Sometimes it varies between, you know, posting on a Tuesday, possibly a Wednesday. You know, sometimes it's hard to get into the mindset to do all of this. And in some cases, I mean, there were plant chores that I did off camera just because I needed to get them done and I just didn't want to have to set everything up. What did I do? I repotted my Alocasia cuprea. I did that. What else did I repot over there? Oh, it might have just been the cuprea. Oh, yeah, the Alocasia cuprea. And then I added some moss to my neon pothos pole that I have going over there. Just little things like that were things that I just kind of took off camera. I did put a couple of my propagating anthuriums into tree fern fiber and perlite. So they're still in the prop boxes though, because I don't feel like they were ready to come out of that situation. Okay, so you can see here, the roots are very good. And I think it's just time. I've wanted to do it for a while, especially so I could get a stake in there. And I don't want to slam a stake into this cup where it's got so many good roots going on. So I'm just going to, hopefully you can, yeah, you can see that. Oh, don't stick, don't stick, don't stick. I probably should have watered this first. Sometimes that is not the best idea. There we go. So I'm not worried about the leca being in there, that's fine. And the roots look really good. Not bad, not bad at all. Okay. So because it's leaning this way, so this is a plastic pole, so it's not going to rot in the medium or anything like that. I think maybe I should lift you guys a little bit here. Okay. So I think that this will probably be okay. It has room to grow. I'm just going to fasten it to the stake. Figure I would be more prepared than this. But I think it was just because I wanted to make sure I got something done. It didn't necessarily matter that I didn't have all my ducks in a row, as long as some of the ducks were here. It's the flat end. It makes it easier to fasten the plant to the stake first before putting in the medium that you're going to use. Now that might be a little bit low. Maybe we'll see. Okay, you're just going to lean. Say. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I will put a little, you see that? A little bit more on the bottom. Okay, that's better. That is better. All right. Okay, so things happen, you know. All I can say after everything that's been going on in my world the past few weeks, all I can really say to anyone is live your life to the fullest. I found out a couple people that I work with passed away recently. One was young, and it's hard to reconcile with that sometimes. Life keeps going, and as hard as it is, you still have to put one foot in front of the other. It's not easy, but you do what you got to do to cope, right? Anyway, do not want to go down a sad road here, but the past couple of weeks have been sad, so I just wanted to make sure that I addressed that a little bit while I was here with you guys in today's video. I feel like that could be tighter. Maybe I should do the one below it instead. And there's going to be a new leaf coming at the back of the plant right there. So I have it a little bit off the pole just because, I'll zoom in if I can, but just because there's a new leaf coming right here and I didn't want it crushed up against the pole, so, or the stake. So I'm just gonna leave that. Now, something that I will do sometimes when I have a stake in a pot is because I know that where this plant sits, it's gonna want to pull forward like it was. And sometimes what I do is I just take some twine, if I could find it. Okay, so sometimes I just take some twine and this helps me as well once the soil settles, because I will water this in, and I'll water it in with some Great White. But what I'll do is take the twine, wrap it just like that, just to hold it straight. And then, whoops. Now the only thing that you have to do is make sure that it's right where you want it to be. And then I just tie it off. Just so that when it wants to lean, it won't lean. Or won't be able to lean, I guess is better to say. And then I just make a little bow right like that. And there we go. So now it's straight, and it will hopefully stay that way. We'll see. All right, so that is the Atabapoense. That one is done. And there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna put you over here. I think it's gonna be much happier in that pot. Okay, now the Soderoy. I'm not gonna put a leca layer in the bottom of this one. I'm just gonna use straight up soil. I've got dust bunnies all over me now. I mean, talk about being a little bit chaotic. But I've had this Soderoy for a long time now. And I kept meaning to put it in a bigger pot, but I never did. And this one is actually labeled Soderoy Ornatum Giant Silver. So we're gonna go with that. This one's gonna be a little harder because it kind of curves. So what we'll do is we'll just take off all of this old soil. I'm trying to be gentle with the roots here. It wasn't that long ago when you didn't find Soderoys in garden centers. And this one I got from Garden Works for $4.99. $4.99 for this plant. I think I paid more than that when I had ordered it online. And I had to rehab that one. It's currently doing much better, actually. It's probably ready to be put in soil pretty soon too. But okay, so I think that's good. I just broke a root, or is that? Nope, I broke that. So did break a root off, but the roots do look pretty good. They're firm. I don't see any dead roots. Nope, okay. So we're all good. We're gonna move this old soil over. Okay. I think the Soderoy can handle just the mix I'm gonna put it in on its own. The only reason why I put the leca in, as I said, was because it felt like it wasn't such a big pot that way, and it was used to having a reservoir underneath it. I will be watering all of these in with Great White, I love that stuff. Okay. Now for this one, I probably should have put the stake in first. But how am I gonna do this? So I am gonna have to put like most of the plant. There's actually 2 plants in here. And that's fine by me. Oh, it looks like there was 3, but 1 died. Ooh. Okay, well, yep, there's that. So I'm gonna leave the, maybe not. Okay, so we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take that one and put it in something else. Now that makes this pot seem really big for that root system, doesn't it? But I feel like the stake in a 5-inch pot might be too much. Oh, okay. Or not even 5 inch, 4.5? 4.5. Okay, yeah, I gotta do that. All right. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put that little piece of Soderoy in Pawn and see how that does. Oh, that was too much. Oh, picked up the dead one again. Okay, so, now, okay, hang on. How are we gonna do this? So even if I put it, so if I stand it upright, which is just like this, I could attach this part to the pole and then wait for it to readjust, but I don't think that's a good idea either though. But I can't do it like this. Oh, maybe I can. Okay, you know what? We're doing it. You know what amazes me? How long it takes to film these videos sometimes. I mean, something that would literally take me just a few minutes, not on camera, takes me like hours to film. Okay, so I'm thinking I should be able to do it this way. That's gonna have to be the way it goes. All right. Oh, I didn't think about that. I hope it stands up for me okay. I don't know what's happening. The interruptions are real going on here. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Okay, so I am trying to okay, so this one I'm gonna have to fasten in a couple of spots, I think, just so that I can train it to go up the pole. You know, I don't even know where I'm gonna put this one. It's pretty much been sitting up with my Gloriosums, and it's been doing really well up there. So I might, I don't know if I have room up there. I don't know. Space is getting tight. And me being me, because I'm ridiculous, North Shore Tropicals had a couple of mystery boxes on their website. An Anthurium mystery box and a Philodendron mystery box. And I did this upside down. And I decided that I would get one of each. So the Anthurium mystery box comes with 3 Anthuriums. Now it's possible that those Anthuriums I might already have, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter to me if I have them already, because it just gives me more plants that I can kind of experiment with. So I'm okay with repeats, and it's the same with the philodendrons. I'm okay with having repeats of those as well, because it gives me more of an opportunity to experiment with some plants Or, I mean, for that matter, they could even be plants that I had that died. You know, I mean, who knows? I am experimenting more with pon these days. So that gives me pon and leca, really. I do have more in pon than I do leca. I think I only actually have one plant in leca, and it seems to be doing okay. But I'm trying. I am planting this a little low. Maybe it's too low, but I'm gonna go with that. I think it's okay. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. If it is a problem, I will find that out. I have also gotten more into cutting my plants, or not being scared to cut my plants, pretty much. Most of the time I would leave bad looking leaves on just for what I figured would benefit the plant. Now I'm getting better at just cutting them off. What I do have to do though is remember that I can throw things away. I don't have to propagate everything that I cut when I cut my plants. If they don't look the way I want them to, now I will cut them. I also have to start cutting them to fit because some of them are getting very, very big. And there we go. Okay, so there is that one. And I think I will definitely use pon for the other one. I'm gonna have to rinse the roots off, and they're starting to dry out sitting over there, so I will do that. So here we go. I don't think I have to tie this one off. I think it'll be just fine. But yeah, so here is my philodendron soderoy. I've got to just make sure. Another thing that I have a problem with gaps. I really need to be better at filling gaps in my plants. Part of me almost thinks that, you know, it's like it's just a little pocket of air for them. But I need to be careful. Okay, so there's that, which is looking fabulous. So we will put you over here so that you can be watered in. Now this little guy here, I'm just gonna go give the roots a quick rinse and put this one. Will that work? That'll work. And then, ooh, I'll probably have to clean this out because it's not the cleanest, but, oh, perfect, okay. All right, I've got a system going on now. Okay, I'm just gonna go rinse off these roots and I will be right back. So here is the soderoy. I've rinsed off the roots as much as I possibly can. And then I've got my Crystal Star Nursery Pond. Something else I'm gonna do is get proper containers for my mediums because I'm using coffee mate containers. So, okay, we're gonna take you over here. So I've got the Crystal Star Nursery Pond mixed with a little bit of perlite because I do find it quite heavy, but this is what it looks like. And, oh, this was my other soderoy container, so it's actually already labeled for me. So we're gonna see how this does in pon, and then I'm not worried if it makes it or not. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, I was talking about how I went on a memorial ride for my best friend's dad. So he passed away from cancer, and he liked to ride. So does she. We bonded over that ourselves. She's the girlfriend of a friend of mine that I've known for a really long time. And when I was learning to ride, she was very, very supportive. So her dad passed away and she just recently moved into his house, and it's about an hour away from where I am. And she's usually my riding buddy. We take our first ride of the year together every year. We go to Pitt Lake, and this year we did take my first ride of the year this year. I think it was hers too. First real ride. We took it together a couple of weeks ago. And we didn't go to the same place, but we still went for a ride. Anyway, so it was her dad's memorial ride. So a bunch of his friends that he rode with. He was part of a group called the Sober Riders. So many of them came out to ride with us. So it was actually my first group ride when I rode my own motorcycle. But the thing for me was that I had to, riding around familiar areas for me by myself is one thing, but I had to ride for an hour to some place that I'd been to before, but didn't really pay attention to how I got there. And then we had a 90-minute ride up to Harrison Hot Springs. And then I was still gonna have to ride home. So I knew that that was gonna be a really long riding day for me. It was also very stressful because I have anticipatory anxiety, and the anticipation of that ride was no joke. I couldn't even sleep the night before. But I made it out to where she lives, made the ride to Harrison, made the ride home. It was all good. It was a very, very tiring day. And for some reason, I thought that I was going to be able to go there, come home and film, but that was just not the case. My body was sore. That was also the longest ride I'd ever been on. So in total, it was 1, 2, 3. It was like 3.5 hours on the bike. That is a long day for me. So anyway, I came home, passed out and whatever, and here we are. It took me a lot to get motivated today, but I did. And there we go. So there's our little guy in pawn, and then it should fit in this little reservoir, just like that. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, we're gonna see how that does. Now, what else has happened? Oh, you know what I have to do? I have another philodendron that I have to pot. So this is my philodendron Summer Glory. So this I actually bought off of Charmaine from Unplant Parenthood in a live sale that she had with North Shore Tropicals a while ago. I think it was way back in January. And I have not switched out the pot yet. So she does have about this much medium in there. I haven't checked the roots or anything. It has given me 2 leaves. So this was the first leaf that came out in my care just after I got it. And then this was the second. This leaf here, which is not the oldest leaf, but it's yellowing off for some reason. I just feel like I need to finally take a look at the roots and maybe put it in a different pot, because it's leaning and now it's like it wants to crawl. So maybe I can use this 6-inch pot for that. Well, it depends on the size of the roots. And then maybe, it's possible I could put it back in this pot, but let's take it out and take a look. I could. So, oh yeah, all right. So there's definitely some leca in here. The plant has been growing really well. I don't even have to pay attention to this plant. Whoops. It does its own thing. Oh, there's definitely moss here. So we'll get rid of that. Interesting though, it's still it dries out really, really quickly. And it doesn't seem to bother the plant at all. thing is, do I put you back in here? I mean, I could. And just lift it up a little bit more so that if it wants to crawl, it has room to go along the top. I'm gonna take the little tiny baby leccas that were in here, and I'm just gonna put them in here. So essentially, I'm just kind of lifting it up a little bit. I think it'll be fine in the existing pot. And yeah, okay, because it was sunken down there pretty low. So now it'll have a little bit more room to work with. And then it still fits where I had it too, which is perfect. So it actually ended up being kind of a philodendron heavy video today. We are still going to get to that anthurium because I definitely want to get that in a better situation and just not have so much perlite in the way there. Okay, so now it shouldn't dry out too much because it only had about half the amount of soil because it was planted low in there. But I'm very, very happy. I don't want to get rid of the label because Charmaine wrote on it, but it keeps peeling off, so maybe I'll just tape it since this is still the pot that it's in. All right, and there we go. So here is my Philodendron Summer Glory and its new setup. So I will definitely have to water that one in as well. Now, I'm just going to clean off this tray and get a different pot, or should I put it in the 6-inch? I mean, that's a 3-inch pot. Do you think like 6 would be too much? I mean, they say to up pot them big. I just don't up pot them big when they're kind of itty bitty, but I feel like this might be able to handle it. Okay, I'm just gonna mix the rest of this mix with some of my anthurium mix, just make it a little bit chunkier, and then we will get onto that. Oh no, are you kidding me? My butt broke off a couple of leaves. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, my poor Monstera subpinnata. So for a while there, I was kind of putting philodendrons in tree fern fiber as well. But I find for the most part, they don't really need it. As I was saying, my mystery boxes will probably show up sometime next week. I have some updates on other things for you guys. Let's see. It's just so many things have been happening. Oh no. Oh, you have a root coming out the bottom too. So many things have been happening and I feel like I can't keep up. But that's also, you know, oh, this pot is going to be completely destroyed after I'm done. I just wish that I could. There we go. Ooh. I do. I wish that I could keep up with everything, but some things are just so tough. So I'm trying to work things into a way that I can kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Section off certain things. So I'm definitely a big advocate of, to make things seem less daunting, I separate them into different parts, if that makes sense. So let's take, for example, I was talking about the ride I had to do. So as daunting as it was for me to think about, the way that I kind of combated my fear a little bit was by thinking of it this way. I thought about it in 3 parts. Number 1, I had to get to where I was going. That was part 1. Part 2 was doing the ride around Harrison. And part 3 was me being able to ride home. So I separated it into 3 parts, and it didn't seem as intimidating to me when I did it that way. I just thought, okay, you know what? All I got to do is make it there. I'll worry about what I have to do after that once I make it there, which is exactly what I did. There was a lot of people there too, so, you know, being around people that were so much more experienced than me was also a little bit intimidating. But I did part 2. And then after that, after some speeches and some food, then it was on to part 3, getting home. And so I separated it like that, and it seemed so much less daunting. So what I have to do now is do that with my household tasks, whether they're plants or not. Just split them into parts so that they don't seem as daunting. Okay, so there we go. Now this was a big up pot for this, but I think that it should be able to handle it. So there's my Anthurium magnificum crossed with my Nigrolaminum GG, and I didn't realize it, but I just got I got Garden Works soil, and it does have slow release fertilizer in it as well, so I'm not going to worry about fertilizing these guys too much right now. I'll probably only give it about a month though before I start fertilizing the way they're normally fertilized. But yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so in the end, I did get 4 plants done. Not as many, as I said, not as many Anthuriums as I wanted, but I did get a few of the philodendrons that I had been waiting to get done accomplished. So I do have a couple of neglected plants that I'm gonna have to work on. And then I'm still trying to combine and merge some plants. I didn't get a chance to check the propagations for what I could put into pond, but that'll just be something else that we can do later on. But anyway, so that being said, I hope you are all safe and well. Please like and consider subscribing to my channel. Leave any comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.